Hello there. Did you realize that fathering your daughter is one of the most influential responsibilities you could ever have as a man? Think about it. When you're raising your girl child, you're raising the matriarch for the next generation. How you relate with your daughter affects how she begins to see herself, how she expects to be treated by others, and how she navigates through the world. While fathering girls is one of the greatest joys any father could ever have on this world, it comes with its own challenges. And today, I'm joined by a battery of wonderful gentlemen who are also fathering girls back at home. And we're going to be talking in this first podcast about the challenges of fathering our daughters. So, to my extreme right, we have Eric, who is a father of how many daughters? Three daughters. That's beautiful. Yeah. And then to my immediate right, we have Victor Jaoko, who is a father of just two daughters. And then to my left, we have Johnny, who is also a father of two daughters. And I'm also blessed with two lovely daughters. Maybe we should have mentioned their ages.
Yeah.
My firstborn daughter is turning 23 this year. And my second daughter is turning 17 this year. Eric?
My firstborn is 17.
17.
The secondborn is 13, sorry. And the lastborn is 4.
17, 13, and 4.
Yeah.
Wow. Victor?
I have a 19-year-old and a 13-year-old.
19-year-old and a 13-year-old. Johnny?
12-year-old and a 10-year-old.
There you have it.
Yeah.
We are not experts. We do not purport to know all, but we are also learning on the job. They say there's no perfect parenting, that even the parents of Jesus forgot him in the market. So we are here to learn together. And I'm going to start off by asking Eric, what comes to mind when we think about the challenges of fathering daughters, especially in this century?
Wonderful. That's a wonderful question. And thank you so much for this timely conversation. You know, as you introduced, when you're raising daughters, you're raising somebody's wife, somebody's mother, somebody who will come to be very instrumental in our society. Mm-hmm. Unlike the conventional ways, yenye tuko tunasema you can be educated as a woman and all you will do is to be a housewife. That thing is way overgone. It's overdue. So what comes at the top of my mind is emotional disconnect.
Wow.
Because we were raised by parents who are never there. I have heard you several times say that you have never hugged your dad.
At this age, I've never.
At this age,
yes.
You've never hugged your dad.
Yet I love him and he loves
Yet you love him. There are no bad blood. You love your dad. He loves you back.
Yeah.
But kila mtu ajipe shughuli.
Yes.
This is not how we do it.
Yeah.
But now you see this generation, they want to be touchy, lovely, emotionals are there.
Yeah.
So because of how we were raised, there's this emotional disconnect. Mzaya anajua kazi yake ni kuprovide.
Yeah.
Are you lacking anything?
Yes.
Si school fees nimelipa, you are in good shelter, nakupeleka this and this and this.
Yeah.
So majority of the time we replace our presence with some presence.
Yeah.
And the kid will interpret an emotional disconnect.
Yeah.
Because they have their needs.
Yeah.
But we are here coming as fixers. I came to fix. I did not come to listen to you. Mm-hmm. And that can make the daughter develop an emotional wound, neglect.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about my feelings. Nobody cares about my emotions. Yeah. So I'll rather stay with them. Because if the most important person in my life, who is the father, cannot listen and understand my emotions, then I don't think I can go to any other man or any other person mwenye atasikia. So what comes at the top of my mind is emotional neglect.
And what makes that very important is the fact that she's the matriarch for the next generation.
Absolutely.
And mothers are, in many societies, the source for emotional support. Mm-hmm. So if she does not learn how to connect emotionally from her father, I think that poses a long-term challenge.
Yeah.
What do you think, Joko?
For me, I think what comes on top of my head is time constraints. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We live in a very fast generation. Most parents are really doing the best that they can to provide for their families. And as a result, parents or fathers would leave early, come back late. Mm-hmm. When they come back, they are very tired. All they want to do is probably just have food and sleep.
Yeah.
The next morning, they're gone. And recently, during our we had a teens conference. The teens in in church raise that as a major issue, that parents are not giving them enough time. And even for the times that fathers have at home, we are in our nothing box.
We've zoned out.
We've sold it up.
Yeah.
True. You're there, but you're not there.
And so,
Or we are watching Manu lose a game.
yeah, you have to go there. All right. So sometimes we are present, but we're not engaging. Yeah. So that also becomes a major problem.
Yes.
And then there is school.
Yeah.
There was a time the Ministry of Education banned holiday tuition, but it's slowly creeping in. So over the holidays, when the kids are supposed to be in with their fathers, they are busy attending a tuition here or there. Or like my daughter is into football, there's a sports academy, so she's going for football or for taekwondo. And so the time that the kids are with their parents is minimal. And then of course, the major thing, social media. Yeah, everybody could be in the house, but everybody's scrolling on something.
Present but absent.
You're present but absent. So there's no engagement. So I think time constraint is a major challenge to parenting girls.
That's a real challenge. What do you think, Johnny?
I think right now, parenting, especially with girls, it's almost like we are parenting in wartime zones. Because imagine we have external pressures and influences. So now it is challenging enough when you have your daughter go much is going. But then now we are the first generation. Imagine this, the first generation we are raising were being raised by social media. So we are learning social media as they are learning. It's a challenging fee for us as it is for them. And then now you see it sets unrealistic standards. Because kuna kitu anaona. You understand? She's now beginning to see there are certain things out there. There are other fathers out there that are doing
Other standards out there.
So now all of a sudden you're not the only voice that is speaking to her. Do you see? You're not the only voice. So when we're talking about social media, for instance, social media now provides a platform because now what they're bringing other people's homes
Into your home.
You understand? And because now, for instance, let's talk about certain things, a PC, the bleaching situation, everybody's bleaching. So what does that tell the girl? My dad, I haven't. You're not here. At least we can thank God not here. We haven't got into that state. But you can imagine that already is a conversation that is ongoing. Because the girl is seeing these people are bleaching. They were dark, and it was dark the other day, and auntie is now coming in. She's lighter than most. So does it mean only light people are acceptable? So that's a conversation. So I would say yes. External pressures would rank high up there.
And up there, it's about the social media is the challenges. You do there's a father-daughter challenge. And your daughter wants you to raise her. And your knees are
Your knees are giving up.
So those pressures are real.
And to think that what you teach her, she would easily unlearn by watching stuff on social media. What you try to instill into her, she can easily, jettison because of the newest information she's getting on social media. That you taught her something as her daddy, but then she hears somebody else's dad coming up with different contrary stuff. And all you told her goes out the window. Eric, what comes to mind again?
Again, what comes to mind is that, you see, as father figures, we are very important to girls especially because of the electoral complex. They are very much attracted to the male figures as the boys are attracted to the female figures in the house. So the other day I was with my lastborn. She wants to be everywhere I am. I mentioned she's 4. So at an early stage, they are very expressive. They want to be where you are.
They're all over you.
They are all over me, but go to my firstborn. She doesn't want to see me anywhere. She's in her own box because there comes a time where the parents are no longer close. They are closer to the peers. And now not the parents. Now you see, if you compare my 4 and my 17, she's very expressive. She wants to be where I am. Then Kokoule 17. So there comes a communication gap over time. I cannot be able to express, she cannot be able to express herself to me. And then I interpret it in my mind, ni kama umeni block, is everything okay? Because unlike the first one, for example, juzi tumekanaka kadogo, and then my wife wants to go for a certain meeting. So she comes and then I compliment and all that, and then she turns around, spins around to show me how beautiful she's looking. Guess what my little one did? She ran out, went to her wardrobe, grabbed a dress. I asked her, Mama, what's up? I want to wear it. I spin around. You tell me what you told Mommy. Because she wants the same expression done to her.
Amazing.
Now, when you get to the 17-year-old, what she dresses is her choice.
Yes.
You're not the only voice, as you're saying, you're not the only voice who is influencing the desires and the decisions.
She actually thinks you're so outdated.
You're so outdated. You cannot understand this. So majority of the time she'd just say yes, just to clear the conversations. You do you, let me do me. So another challenge is communication gaps over time. We must reparent ourselves to be able to enter into their world, to be very friendly with them, to be able to understand the world from their own perspective, so that we can be able to help them as well.
It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. And the stages that they go through is just amazing. Because when your daughter is at that stage, very young, they want to be all over you. And they want to bond with you. A time comes in their teenage years when they feel you're so old-fashioned, out of touch with reality. But amazingly, as they grow older into young adults, they begin again to gravitate towards you as a father. Recently, I had an amazing experience when my daughter came back home after 3 years, and she had a to-do list, including her time with her daddy. And she kept telling me, I'm coming home and we must go hiking together. And we enjoyed our wonderful father-daughter moment together. It's amazing.
Interesting.
Jalko, what comes to mind again?
Just before I got to that point, there is something that Elip has said about how our daughters are all of us really young, and then when they grow up, they tend to move into their own world. And I was just thinking the way we have a small way to impact our. Absolutely, yeah. That small win when our kids are growing up and our kids want to be around us, that is a time we need to show them the values and they need to espouse, right? And that is a time we need to have, a deep connection that will be long lasting. Such that even when they grow, at some point inside of them, they still remember these core memories they had done it. And that is what will make them listen to us, but make them value the input that we are giving into their lives. But quickly, the other constraint I see is on gender and cultural matters. In the African traditional setup, these things were cut and set. I'm a man. As we given the balls, we go hunting. We come back. Right. Nowadays it's not so much. Our girls want to be engineers. Right. Our girls are playing football. My daughter loves football.
I saw her shooting a goal. And she did it with such experience. I was curious to find out, for how long has she been playing this football?
For I think about 3 years now. But she also loves taekwondo. The other day there was a drunk man who accosted her, and she did a spin kick on the guy and left us. What? So I cannot parent this girl the way my dad parented my sisters. All right. So those gender roles are now becoming a little bit fuzzy. Our boys want to be chefs. Or is a celebrity on social media who is doing very well, trending as a chef. So or beauty care. Or beauty care. Right. We cannot parent our girls with that lens anymore. Those cultural differences that existed between how boys need to behave at certain times or girls need to behave, there's a lot of bloody issues. So as a man now raising a daughter, I have to be very sensitive to those issues outside alive, so that I do not address what is innately probably going to happen in the future.
Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. Johnny, what else comes to mind?
I've seen, and let me get posed this as a question. Where do you draw the line between being overprotective and being liberated? Again, because you see, there is a challenge. Growing up, when my kids were younger, I was their favorite plate. Yes. So
I remember you telling us how you'd be out playing with your kids in the evening, and your wife, their mom, screams out, "Come back to the house, wear a sweater." And they said that you also have to go in and
yes, you see, because for them, when they see my relationship with them, especially when they were growing up, they would see me as their playmate. Do you see? In fact, it would be hard to tell them to come into the house. I'd say, Tiffany, Rico, hii ni kwa nyumba. Said, nani amesema? Because now they know
and if they have to go in, you have to go in.
yes. And in fact, even when we are eating, there have been, maybe the mom is serving them foods, so she'll serve 3 bowls. Na daddy bora daddy akuli, because daddy is one of us. Yeah. But of course, now as they grow, now there's need to tighten up the controls. Because again, like I said about social media, you'll discover social media is really pushing a narrative of the weak father. You understand? It might look like it's a joke, getting, and it's something to laugh at, but that's actually the narrative. So that now, because you see, they will be attracted to the man that they see. So later on in life, when they are now picking a mate, they'll pick, somebody who's loose with their boundaries. So then now again, comes the question, where do we set the boundaries? Because again, I want my daughters to understand that life is really easy on you when you're tough on yourself. You understand? But when you're easy on yourself, life tends to be very tough on you. So right now, I think as they're growing up, especially now heading into their teens, one of the areas that I'm really tightening on is on boundaries. So we have conversations, yes. We play, yes. But when it comes to setting boundaries, I like them to understand that once we have set out on a certain discussion, that is the matter. Now, why is that important? Because in a time to come, we are talking about training. The Bible talks about train up a child in the way they should go. Now, when it talks about training, it's really coming from the concept of where the engine goes, the train follows. So I want them to get a glimpse to understand that their word is law. So when I tell them, for example, I don't want anybody outside the house before 7. Now, kitambo ilikuwa mchezo. No. But as they move into the teens, that's nothing to laugh about. Yeah. So now cracking no difference
makes a lot of sense.
to hapo iko chida.
Yeah. And as we continue, our wonderful viewers would like you to write in the comment section what other challenge comes to mind when it gets to fathering girls in this century that we're in. And I'm just thinking about the challenge of raising daughters who are in different age groups. So you can imagine if you have an 8-year-old daughter and you have a 23-year-old daughter.
Yes.
I mean, the template is not the same.
No, it's not.
They are growing, they're maturing, they're different cognitive levels. They will ask you different types of questions, have different types of expectations. Recently, I was invited to my last born's daughter's school to go make a presentation, and it was a big thing because it was, I think, a prayer day in the church, in the school rather, and the hall was full of students. Every student was in the hall, plus their parents and teachers. And so I was called, both as a psychologist and as a theologian, to make a speech and to pray. So my daughter had that, and she said she has to choose what I will wear. I told her, I have to wear, like clergy. I have to wear a suit. And she was like, no, you cannot wear that. That's not going to happen. I was telling her, listen, I'm not going there just in the capacity of being your dad. I'm going there in my capacity as clergy. So she really had to insist, I can't wear suits. And reminded me of a story I had from my wife and her siblings, how they would hide their least favorite father's trouser before they would go to boarding school. So he doesn't go visiting them wearing that trouser. So my daughter was like, you can't wear that. Please don't wear that to my school. And I felt it because you see, when I would stand in front of our school fraternity, in her mind, I'm standing there as her dad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm standing there as a professional, psychologist, theologian, but she's seeing her dad. But then when it comes to my firstborn daughter, she's turning 23 this year. She no longer makes such expectations on my dressing.
Yeah.
Then now your daughter can call you Muri.
A random word.
And I think I remember having this. I remember having this discussion, lively discussion with my daughter, teenage daughter, and she said, "Bro, I think she was saying something. You know, this can't happen. You can't do this, bro. Like I'm not your brother." But that's a word they throw around when they're talking to people. Yeah, amazing. Eric, what comes to mind there?
Navigating strong emotions, especially now from the developmental stages. Kuna vile when they get to puberty, now things are growing that are not growing. Things are happening so fast. There are bodily changes, hormonal changes. That conversation is quite touchy, and fathers have a difficulty in talking to the daughters. For example, about men says about now that they are fully grown up, they can easily get pregnant. Who to associate with? Are you supposed to be dating? Those touchy conversations.
Especially single father.
Yeah, especially if you're a single father, you cannot direct this girl to akuja kwambie, dad, mimi naona nikaa nimeumia. What is happening? So how do you handle that? Those deep conversation, emotional conversations.
This one set of
It's quite challenging.
Johnny, what comes to mind?
I think they said I would ask because now as we are approaching, again, we are approaching the teens. See, like now for me, my daughters, one is 12 and she's tall. Surprisingly, but I didn't have her. But but then there is business genes, yes, basis. So now the thing is, now there are certain conversations that have to be had. Yeah. Before there was a time I tell her, you know, it tells me, Daddy, should I do this? I said, no, you do it like this. Why should I do it? Because I said, Sonny, now that style of parenting was very tricky. But now we have to, like you say, things up that she gives. First time it was like we work his cohort around certain conversation. Like for instance, there's a talk about in my I'm the class rep, on my daughter's case. So there's now a position coming up of where to dating. We're getting girls getting attracted, or boys getting attracted girls. It's up at me. Now, if I bury my guy there's sat, then it's scary, same class. This is happening. Now I'd be fooling myself. Or at the same time, I can't run away to that discomfort. Yeah. That now, in here, teaching discuss monks, teaching discuss, they get pitas and boys. You can eat somebody up only be as a child. What? You make some more sense.
Do you have one more challenge that comes to me? Peter.
Maybe I would say behaving like a man. Yes, we live in interesting
Where the line is blind. Alphabet key. Yes.
talking about the right. And at the home that we begin to demonstrate the line here between male faith
No.
and especially as people of faith. Yeah, yes. It's very important that we demonstrate to our children and especially our girls what a male or a father figure ought to be like within the boundaries of the home. They need to learn here before they can go out there and listen to what the world has to say. So I think one of the things that we have to do as father is to let our daughters know who is a man, he is not a man, so that they're not confused by the noises that they get out there in the world. And it becomes challenging also in the sense that what was expected of a man in our years is different than, say, what is expected of a man in the modern time, in the modern setting. For example, growing up, your father was a provider, he came home, and your mother was a housewife, and that was very well understood. Nowadays, my wife works, right? There was a time I was in between, jobs, and my wife was predominant in providing. And to let my wife or to let my daughter know, for example, that you can still be a man and not have the wherewithal to provide, I think is very key. Very, yeah, because and some of the roles that men take, like locally, are not the roles that men take outside of the country, or maybe in different family setups. For example, I have friends who have gone abroad, and because of the high cost of hiring help, you find that maybe one person is at home during the day, the other person works at night. So what the man does during the day is what the wife will do during the night.
Yeah.
So there are gender roles that are being, are blurred. But even with the blurring of gender roles, can we still have the man show the importance of being what they call a biological being? Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Around that to the daughter, so that they do not pick up you.
Wow. What a way to conclude this session. Because, gentlemen, if there is a daughter in your life, you're fathering a girl, you're raising the matriarch for the next generation, always remember that you are the first definition of a man to her. You are the first man that your daughter gets to know. How you model your behavior, how you present yourself will impact her view and her understanding of men in a big way. And like we said in the introduction, how you relate with her determines how she thinks about herself, what she expects from others, and how she expects others to treat her. And it even informs how she's going to navigate the world. And we want to conclude by thanking you so much for having joined us in this brief podcast. Would like you to please stay in touch and follow us for more content. And the next session we're going to be talking about the tips for fathering girls. In this session, we are talking about the challenges. In the next session, we'll be talking about the tips or the wisdom for fathering girls. Do let us know in the comment section what your thoughts were about the challenges of fathering girls in our generation. May God bless you. In Jesus' name. Amen.